much cardio do you really need to kill your visceral fat? Most people think cardio is just about burning calories, but the real power of cardio is the ability to shrink the dangerous fat that you can't see. But here is the shocker. Most people are doing cardio completely wrong when it comes to getting rid of it. And the truth is, you don't need hours of treadmill punishment. In fact, the science shows you can double your results without adding extra time if you structure it the right way. But here's the catch. Cardio has to be progressive. Think of it like climbing a mountain, and at the base, the air is rich and the trail is wide. And if you climb higher, the path gets steeper, the air gets thinner, and every step makes more out of you. If a helicopter dropped you at the summit without acclimating step by step, you'd collapse because of lack of oxygen. Cardio works exactly the same way. It has to be level by level, or you'll burn out instead of burning fat. My name is Michael Diamonds. I'm a scientist with degrees in biochemistry and microbiology. I'm a medical doctor, pro-natural bodybuilder, and your coach. And in this video, I'll take you through what I call the pyramid of fat loss. 5 distinct levels of cardio that actually target visceral fat. And this is the exact same system that I've used with my clients, and strip away all of the hidden fat that silently is robbing you of your health and your years. But before we talk about how much cardio you actually need, let's talk about what your body really requires to burn fat. In a nutshell, your body needs 2 things to actually burn fat. Number 1 is catecholamines. These are the hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline. They're the signal that tells your fat cells to unlock their energy. Think of them as keys. And once they bind to the receptors, the locks on the fat cells, the stored triglycerides are broken down into fatty acids that can leave the cell. And number 2 is blood flow. Unlocking the fat isn't enough. It has to be transported to your muscles where it can actually be burned for energy. And exercise boosts circulation, carrying those fatty acids into the bloodstream and delivering them to be working on the muscles. And here's the kicker. Without catecholamines, fat stays locked. Without blood flow, they never get to the furnace. So, how much cardio do you actually need to shrink your visceral fat? One of the best answers comes from the STRIDE trial. It's a large randomized control study where people were split into different exercise groups, and their visceral fat was measured with CT scans before and after. And the study found that the minimum effective dose is about 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise. That is just 5 30-minute sessions per week, or 21 minutes a day for the week. But get this, with level 2 of the pyramid, you'll use the same 30 minutes to burn up 50% more fat, with studies showing nearly double the efficiency of visceral fat loss. But if you want faster results, research shows you'll get the biggest reduction of visceral fat 225 to 300 minutes per week. That's roughly 45 to 60 minutes most days. Now you may be asking why? Because visceral fat loss follows a dose response curve. The more consistent cardio you do, the more fat you lose, up to a point. But here's another key factor. Not just how long you do cardio, but how hard. So check out this table. It shows you how your body uses fat versus carbs at different heart rates. So at very low intensity, like let's say 72 beats per minute, you're burning mostly fat, 78%. But the total calories burned is tiny, only about 1 calorie per minute. At around 127 to 138 beats per minute, which we call zone 2 cardio, you're still burning a high percentage of fat, about 38 to 41%. But now, your total calorie burn is much higher, around 11 to 13 calories per minute. That means you're getting up to 4 times more total fat burn per session compared to very low intensity exercise like walking. And once you push harder, let's say you get to 144 to 153 beats per minute, that's zone 3, you will burn more total calories, but your body starts leaning harder towards carbs for fuel, and fat burning plateaus. That's why zone 2, that 120 to 140 beats per minute for most people, or 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, is known as the fat burning sweet spot. It's just not about the percentage of fat used, but the total fat calories per minute. And zone 2 gives you the best return on your effort, especially for the shrinking visceral fat. And here's the crazy part. Most people completely skip the zone because it feels too easy. But the mistake is exactly why you never lose the fat that's killing them. In a minute, I'll show you how to use zone 2 the right way, and then what happens when you stack it with level 4, where fat loss goes into overdrive. So the cardio pyramid of fat loss. Let's break it down, the 5 levels of this pyramid. By the time you reach the summit, you're gonna be operating just like an athlete and getting to very single-digit levels, burning fat at the highest level. Here's how the climb works. Level 1, eating, restricted walking. This is the base of the mountain. Simple and accessible, but just not walking. It's walking in a fasted state. Like first thing in the morning, before breakfast, this level is so powerful. In that state, your insulin level is at the lowest. Your glycogen stores are partly depleted and your body has no choice but to tap directly into fat for fuel. And research shows that even 150 minutes of moderate walking per week, that's just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, is just enough to stop visceral fat from growing. But when you do it in a fasted state, you don't just stop the growth, you accelerate fat loss mobilization because insulin is low and your body has no choice but to pull from stored fat instead of storing more. And here's what I advise all my clients to do. First, check your average daily step count. So look at your phone or your watch to know your baseline. Just open the health app and then look at your average weekly or monthly step count and then add 1,000 steps to that number each week. So example, let's say your average step count says 7,996. Aim for 9,000 next week. And I tell my clients this, when you make a word and a promise to yourself, never break it because your own word means the most. So make sure you hit over 9,000 every day and then 10,000 the week after. That steady climb is the sweet spot, and build up until you're consistently hitting 12,000 to 15,000 steps a day. That's really where fat loss kicks in for most of my clients. And once the habit is locked in, take 30 to 60 minutes of those steps in a fasted state. And I always see in the comments, Dr. Mike, I don't have that time. Guys, I have night shift workers. I have medical doctors who are doing 24/7 shifts, CEOs. I have some of the busiest people. People who really want it will make time. So instead of saying you don't have time, think of a way of how you can make time. And I'm gonna share more in this video. So in the morning is the best. Before breakfast, water or black coffee only as your energy source. One of my best clients, Nicholas, started with nothing but fasted walking. And just in 4 weeks, his waist dropped by 3 inches. No hit, he was training, but all he changed was the walking consistently and at the right time of the day. This is your foundation. You don't need any fancy equipment, no complicated timing. Just get outside in the morning and move. So level 2, the Japanese interval walking technique. This is where your trail on this mountain starts to rise. So back in 2007, the researchers at Shinsei University in Japan developed what we called interval walking training program. This method slashed visceral fat faster. It lowered blood pressure. It controlled blood sugar. So when you ate carbs, your body used it efficiently and burned it up, and even made people fitter and stronger, all in the same 30 minutes. So this is how it works. Start with a 5-minute gentle warm-up walk, and then alternate 3 minutes of brisk walking here, where you can still talk. So this is almost those speed walks, but it feels challenging. The speed is roughly 4 to 5 miles per hour or 6.4 to 8 kilometers per hour for 3 minutes, and then slow it down for 3 minutes of slower recovery. And then repeat the cycle 5 times, and that's 30 minutes in total, and then end with a 5-minute cool down. Now here's what the science says. In just 4 to 5 months, this program boosted VO2 max, your body's ability to use oxygen, by 10 to 15%. That is massive. And VO2 max just isn't about your fitness. It is one of the strongest predictors of how long you're gonna live. The higher it is, the longer your engine is gonna last. And here's the kicker. The better your VO2 max, the more efficient your body burns fat for fuel. This is measured by something called the respiratory quotient, RQ. The lower your RQ, the more your body relies on fat instead of carbs as an energy source. And interval walking shifts this balance in your favor. And the participants in the Shinsei study also lost up to 6 centimeters off of their waistline. That's over 2 inches. And they gained 13 to 17% leg strength from walking. So You may be asking, why does this work so well? Well, I also call it hit light. Those short bursts of intensity flood your system with catecholamines like adrenaline, and you can keep repeating the effort again and again without really burning out. And that combination means more fat is unlocked and more fat's transported and more fat is burned. So here's my advice. Don't ditch level 1. Combine them. Keep your daily walking base, then add 3 to 5 sessions of Japanese interval walking per week. I know so many people have been tagging me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at mikediamonds.md and tag me if you're doing the Japanese walking. I want to make this thing something that everyone does. I tell my clients all the time, this is the insurance policy inside my program, the most basic. It is the most valuable habit for losing fat and keeping it off. And if you're interested in becoming a business athlete at Sculpt by Science, you're an executive, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a doctor, and you want to go from being fat to being in elite shape physically and mentally, it's the first link in the description, sculptbyscience.com, to learn more about what we do. Level 3, Zone 2 formal cardio. This is the middle of the mountain and it keeps the sweet spot for fat burning. Zone 2 means you're keeping your heart rate at about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. So that's usually 120 to 140 beats per minute for most people. Now at this intensity, you're not going all out, but you're burning the highest total amount of fat per minute. So here's what I advise my clients to do. Pick a modality, a mode: inclined treadmill, cycling, rowing. My personal favorite, if you're strong, is a Stairmaster. Swimming, amazing for the back as well. Personally, my favorite is the Stairmaster. It locks you into zone 2, torches the calories without beating up all of your joints, but that's just for me. Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite cardio machine? Is it the inclined treadmill? Is it using the Stairmaster? Let me know. Is it the elliptical? Drop it in the comments, and I want to know what you enjoy most, and I think it might inspire someone to try one of those machines. Now, whatever you pick, the key is to keeping your heart rate in zone 2. So again, you need to check a device. Maybe if you need to hold on to the handlebar for a little bit just to see your heart rate, that's between 120 to 140 beats per minute. Use a tracker if it has one, and stick with 30 to 60 minutes per session, 2 to 3 times per week. And to show you how this looks in practice, here's a real client example. This is my client. He came to me stuck. He's been walking daily, but the visceral fat loss stalled. His body had adapted and he wasn't getting any leaner on the inside. So I simply just put him on zone 2 progression. So this is the program we gave him. Week 1, 2 sessions of 30 minutes. Week 2, 3 sessions of 30 minutes. So when I say that, guys, I mean like he did 30 minutes on Monday, 30 minutes on Wednesday, and then 30 minutes on a Friday. Week 3, 3 sessions of 40 minutes. Week 4, 3 sessions of 45 minutes. That slow, steady build up is exactly like adding weight to the bar in strength training. And he had more energy at work than he'd ever felt in years. And the science backs this up. Zone 2 training builds more mitochondria. Mitochondria are these tiny powerhouse plants in your cells that make your body better at burning fat for fuel. There's a 2018 review in Frontiers in Physiology confirming that it improves your metabolic flexibility, which is your body's ability to switch between carbs and fats depending on what you need. Zone 2 is the foundation of real fat loss. Steady, powerful, and sustainable. If you want to accelerate things up and strip fat even faster, that's exactly what we'll do in level 4, high intensity interval training, the fat loss accelerator. Now, the trail is starting to get steep. Remember the mountain analogy. By the time you reach level 4, you're high up where the air is thin. This is where HIIT lives. Now, if you just try jumping here without building the base, you're gonna burn out fast. It's gonna get worse, or you might even get injured. That's why level 1, 2, and 3 come first. But once your body is ready, HIIT is the correct accelerator. Short, sharp, and devastatingly effective. Here's how it works. I want you to go 20 to 30 seconds all out on a sprint, or on a bike, on a rower, sled push, anything you can think of, even the battle ropes, right? Whatever you prefer. Then I want you to do a light recovery for 60 to 90 seconds. And I want you to repeat this 5 to 15 times. That's about 10 to 20 minutes total. So if you're a beginner, just do 5 sessions of that. No more is needed. And why does this work? Heat creates a powerful hormonal surge, spiking fat loss mobilization while also driving your heart rate into zones that maximize calorie burn. And unlike steady cardio, it gives you the afterburn effect. Your metabolism stays elevated for hours after the workout, so you're still burning fat long after you've stopped. Meta-analyses show that HIIT is at least as effective and even often more efficient than steady state cardio for shrinking abdominal and visceral fat, but in a fraction of time. Here's my advice. Add 2 HIIT sessions per week on top of your walking and zone 2 base and keep them short, 10 to 20 minutes max. Recovery is as important as the work, and don't overdo it. That's how you stay consistent for the long term. HIIT is the fat loss accelerator that takes your results from steady to explosive. And once you master it, you're ready for the final stage. Level 5. Level 5, the athlete mode, the summit. This is the peak of the mountain, the advanced stage, designed for competitors or anyone chasing single-digit body fat. Here's the structure. 7 total cardio sessions per week with 3 to 5 zone 2 workouts plus 1 to 3 HIIT sessions. That's a mix of endurance and intensity that mimics how the athletes train. You're maximizing every fat loss mechanism. Zone 2 builds up your fat burning engine. HIIT strips off stubborn visceral fat, and the frequency keeps your metabolism firing every day. It's where you earn the right to finish after mastering levels 1 to 4, but it is also the most effective approach if your goal is to be at peak health performance with the leanest possible body composition. Now, reality check. Nutrition first, guys. Before we wrap this up, let's hit the reality check. Cardio is powerful. It boosts fat burning hormones. It increases your blood flow, right? And it also directly shrinks visceral fat. But here's the truth. If your diet is out of control, no amount of cardio will save you. The research is crystal clear on this. Meta-analyses show that exercise alone can reduce visceral fat, but the reductions are small. When you combine exercise with the right nutrition, the results are double or even triple. And that's because fat loss always comes down to energy balance. Think of it like math. Your diet creates the caloric deficit, that's subtraction. Cardio is multiplication. It accelerates the process. But if you're overeating ultra-processed foods, you're trying to multiply a number that's already negative. The math just doesn't work. Now, here is the right prescription. Build your calorie deficit with nutrition, use cardio as the accelerator, the tool that makes fat loss faster and easier, and then, as you've seen in the 5 levels, progress from walking into interval training to HIIT to strengthen cardio, and then finally advanced methods if you need them. Because at the end of the day, it's not about endless cardio or crash dieting. It's about sticking to the right habits, doing it step by step, until fat loss becomes automatic. Master the pyramid and then pair it with smart nutrition, and you're not just gonna lose visceral fat. You're gonna build a body that's leaner, that's healthier, and that is stronger for your life. Now, if you wanna know exactly how to calculate your nutrition for visceral fat loss, what 10 amazing foods you should be eating to burn visceral fat, you need to watch this video here. I'll see you in the next one.